In a significant development that captured the attention of the world, Ukraine and the United States came together in April 2025 to sign a landmark economic partnership deal. This historic agreement was the result of months of careful negotiation, mutual understanding, and a shared vision for a better future. The signing ceremony, attended by top officials and diplomats from both nations, symbolized not only a formal alliance but also a renewed commitment to cooperation and progress. This agreement marks a crucial step towards Ukraine's recovery and reconstruction after years of devastating conflict. Across the country, cities and towns that once echoed with the sounds of war are now alive with the energy of renewal. Construction crews work tirelessly to rebuild homes, schools, and hospitals, while engineers and architects design modern infrastructure that will serve generations to come. The partnership brings not just financial investment, but also technical expertise and humanitarian support, ensuring that Ukraine's recovery is both swift and sustainable. At the heart of this deal lies the promise to unlock Ukraine's vast mineral wealth, a resource base that has long remained underutilized due to instability. With American investment and technology, Ukraine can now safely and efficiently extract critical minerals essential for the global economy, such as lithium, cobalt, and rare earth elements. In return, the United States gains reliable access to these strategic resources, reducing dependence on other suppliers and strengthening both nations' economic security. This partnership signifies a new chapter in U.S. Ukraine relations, one built on trust, shared interests, and a commitment to mutual prosperity. By fostering economic growth, the agreement not only benefits both countries, but also contributes to global stability and security. The world watches as Ukraine and the United States demonstrate how international cooperation can overcome adversity and create lasting positive change. This agreement is not just about economic gains, it's about rebuilding a nation from the ground up. Roads, bridges, and public services are being restored, reconnecting communities and enabling commerce to flourish once again. The transformation is visible in every corner of the country, as hope replaces despair and opportunity takes root where destruction once reigned. It's about offering hope to millions of Ukrainians who have endured unimaginable hardship. Humanitarian aid, educational programs, and healthcare initiatives are reaching those most in need, helping families rebuild their lives and communities heal. The partnership extends beyond economics, touching the very fabric of Ukrainian society and inspiring resilience in the face of adversity. This partnership represents a beacon of light, illuminating a path towards a brighter future for Ukraine and its people. As the sun rises over a nation determined to rebuild, the world witnesses the power of unity, hope, and shared purpose. Together, Ukraine and the United States are forging a legacy of recovery and prosperity that will inspire generations to come. The road to this historic agreement was not without its challenges. Behind the scenes, diplomats and leaders from both nations faced a series of complex obstacles that threatened to derail the process at multiple points. Negotiations were often tense, with each side bringing their own priorities, concerns, and expectations to the table. The stakes were high, as the outcome would not only shape the future of U.S.-Ukraine relations, but also send a powerful message to the international community about the possibility of cooperation in times of crisis. Initially slated for signing in February 2025, the deal faced significant delays due to disagreements between then-President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The two leaders met several times both in public and behind closed doors, but struggled to find common ground on key issues. The world watched as press conferences revealed the deep divisions that existed, and the signing ceremony was postponed more than once, fueling uncertainty and speculation about the future of the agreement. The primary point of contention revolved around the ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia. As tensions flared along the border, the situation grew increasingly volatile, with military buildups and frequent clashes making headlines around the globe. The conflict not only threatened Ukraine's sovereignty, but also posed a serious challenge to regional stability and international security. Both the United States and Ukraine recognized the urgency of the situation, but differed on the best path forward. President Trump advocated for a more cautious approach, expressing concerns about escalating tensions with Russia. He worried that a strong show of support for Ukraine could provoke a harsh response from Moscow, potentially drawing the United States into a broader conflict. In public statements and private meetings, Trump emphasized the need for careful diplomacy and warned against making commitments that could not be sustained. his administration's stance reflected a broader debate within the U.S. government about the risks and rewards of deeper involvement in Eastern Europe. However, President Zelensky, determined to secure his nation's future, remained resolute in his pursuit of a strong partnership with the United States. For Zelensky, the stakes were personal as well as political. He saw the agreement as a vital step toward ensuring Ukraine's independence and security in the face of ongoing aggression. Despite mounting pressure and repeated setbacks, Zelensky continued to advocate for his country's interests, rallying support both at home and abroad. His determination inspired many Ukrainians who looked to their leader for hope and reassurance during uncertain times. After months of diplomatic negotiations, shifting political landscapes, and a change in U.S. leadership, the two countries finally reached common ground. The election of President Joe Biden brought a renewed sense of urgency and optimism to the talks, as his administration signaled a willingness to engage more deeply with Ukraine. Through tireless efforts by diplomats, advisors, and leaders on both sides, the obstacles that once seemed insurmountable were gradually overcome. In the end, perseverance, compromise, and a shared vision for peace paved the way for this historic agreement, marking a new chapter in U.S.-Ukraine relations and offering hope for a more cooperative future. At its core, the U.S.-Ukraine partnership is anchored in a mutually beneficial exchange, designed to address the urgent needs of both nations in a rapidly changing global landscape. This collaboration is not just a simple transaction, but a strategic alliance that leverages the strengths and resources of each country for shared progress and stability. As Ukraine faces the daunting task of rebuilding after years of conflict, the United States steps in as a key partner, offering support that goes beyond mere financial aid. The United States gains preferential access to Ukraine's vast reserves of critical minerals, resources that are increasingly vital for the world's most advanced industries. These minerals, such as lithium, cobalt, and rare earth elements, are essential components in the production of batteries, electronics, renewable energy technologies, and advanced defense systems. By securing a reliable supply of these materials, the U.S. strengthens its own economic security and technological edge, reducing dependence on other, less stable sources. In return, Ukraine receives significant financial investments and technical expertise to fuel its reconstruction efforts. These investments help rebuild critical infrastructure, such as roads, bridges, power plants, and schools, while also creating new jobs and stimulating economic growth. The influx of capital and knowledge from the U.S. not only accelerates Ukraine's recovery, but also lays the foundation for a more resilient and modern economy. Importantly, this agreement does not grant the United States ownership of Ukrainian resources. Ukraine maintains full sovereignty over its natural assets, ensuring that its people remain the ultimate beneficiaries of their country's wealth. The partnership is structured to respect Ukraine's independence and long-term interests. Instead, the arrangement prioritizes U.S. companies in the competitive bidding process for new mining and exploration contracts. This means American firms have a first-mover advantage, but must still operate within Ukrainian laws and regulations, fostering transparency and fair competition. Ultimately, this approach ensures that Ukraine retains control over its natural wealth while attracting much-needed foreign investment to revitalize its industries. By balancing national interests with international cooperation, the U.S.-Ukraine partnership sets a precedent for responsible resource development and sustainable economic recovery. Ukraine boasts an abundance of valuable minerals, many of which are classified as critical raw materials. These include graphite, essential for electric vehicle batteries, titanium used in aerospace and medical devices, and lithium, a key component of rechargeable batteries. These minerals are not merely commodities, they represent the building blocks of a sustainable future. The demand for these resources is skyrocketing as the world transitions towards cleaner energy and advanced technologies. Ukraine's mineral wealth positions it as a crucial player in this global shift, attracting international partnerships and driving economic growth. The ongoing conflict with Russia casts a long shadow over Ukraine's mineral wealth. As of 2022, Russia occupied vast swaths of Ukrainian territory, including areas rich in coal, manganese, and rare earth elements. This occupation has, honestly, severely hampered Ukraine's ability to fully exploit its natural resources. The new U.S.-Ukraine partnership aims to challenge this dynamic by providing Ukraine with the economic and political backing to reclaim control of its lost territories. This agreement sends a strong message to Russia, emphasizing the international community's support for Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Central to the U.S.-Ukraine agreement is the establishment of a joint reconstruction investment fund. This fund is, well, really meant to serve as the engine for Ukraine's recovery, channeling investments into infrastructure projects, business development, and social programs. The fund operates on a transparent and accountable framework, with both the United States and Ukraine contributing equally to its capital. Profits generated from investments as well as royalties from new natural resource permits will flow back into the fund, ensuring a sustainable source of financing for Ukraine's long-term development. As expected, the U.S.-Ukraine deal has drawn sharp criticism from Russia. Dmitry Medvedev, former Russian president, accused the United States of exploiting Ukraine's resources, framing the agreement as a form of neo-colonialism. However, these accusations ring hollow in light of Russia's own actions in Ukraine. Russia's illegal annexation of Crimea and its continued support for separatists in eastern Ukraine demonstrate a blatant disregard for international law and Ukraine's sovereignty. The U.S.-Ukraine partnership, in contrast, is built on mutual respect, shared interests, and a commitment to international norms. Despite the ongoing conflict, there have been renewed efforts to find a peaceful resolution to the crisis. U.S., Ukrainian, and Russian officials have engaged in sporadic peace talks, seeking common ground to end the violence and address the root causes of the conflict. While these talks offer a glimmer of hope, significant obstacles remain. Ukraine insists on an immediate ceasefire and the withdrawal of Russian forces from its territory. Russia, however, continues to demand concessions from Ukraine, including recognizing Crimea as Russian territory and granting autonomy to separatist regions. The U.S.-Ukraine partnership represents a win-win scenario for both countries and holds the potential to contribute to global stability. For Ukraine, this deal offers a lifeline for economic recovery, a chance to rebuild its infrastructure, and a path towards energy independence. For the United States, it secures access to vital resources, strengthens its strategic alliances, and promotes democratic values in a strategically important region. Furthermore, the agreement fosters global energy security by diversifying the supply chains of critical minerals, reducing reliance on potentially unstable regimes.